more importantly, with his tweets the last couple of days. So he was banging on this drum a couple of weeks ago, talking about these upcoming decisions from the SEC and the IRS on two separate issues. He tweeted about them, which I bookmarked here again the other day, essentially saying that I think there's 20 days left in each one of here. I'm already on my bookmarks. 20 days left in two of these. So the SEC Federal Register and then the IRS one. The SEC is the comment period. They open back up, but you can still they closed it, but you can still leave comments for it. And then the IRS one as well. I submitted for both of these. I think a lot of people within the ecosystem did. The IRS one is the gross proceeds and basis reporting by brokers and determination of amount realized and basis for digital asset transactions. So you can read the summary. It's a bit of a mouthful. And then the SEC one is actually titled Safeguarding Advisory Client Assets Reopening of Comment Period, which is what they're doing right now. So you can check both of those out. And then Richard goes on to give you ways to make substantive comments using a couple of different AI tools. I prefer the Bing one, but the Claude.ai one is out there as well. This has kind of caused other people to throw out the examples of what they are submitting for each one of those. October 30th is the deadline for both. I thought it was very interesting, and I pointed this out to you, Ewok, that in his right after that tweet, he backed it up with right here. So lawyers proposed rule comments. And then he goes down with 8 bullet points about dealing with this SEC one. He says, what if classes taught at MIT by Gary Gensler with a link to the course were inducements and instructions on how to exchange value? Is this unclean hands? I thought that was a very interesting bullet point of the ones that he had on here. So, what do you make of him going back to this? I love that he's kind of summoning people to say, hey, get in there, make your voice heard, let them know what's going on. And, it's kind of like a preparatory step of say, hey, this is the kind of stuff you're going to be up against, and this is what lawyers will have to say. So have an army of DeFi folks coming after them. So, what do you make of this? And, go ahead.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think it allows the average guy to be able to sound very intelligent, almost lawyer speak, and participate. And I think everybody should. If you haven't, you really should. I started to make one. I haven't sent it yet, but I've been kind of working on it when I get a chance. And I will get it in before the deadline. But, you get to see a lot of these people's examples that they've sent, the things that mean a lot to them. And it could mean anything to you. You don't have to use any of the examples. Just use it and have it well written for you. But using Gensler's own words against him I love it. I think it's awesome how, hey, this is the class that you taught people. And now we're saying that there's the clarity has really gone away. What you said last week doesn't match up with that at all. So which is it? The one you taught in the class at MIT or what you're saying here on the stand because you're kind of protecting your ass kind of thing. So,
right.
I love it. I love the dig. But I really think that as many people should participate as they can.
And not even just a dig. I mean, it's literally pointing out the hypocrisy of Gensler, which we're all, of course, aware of. But it's like, how can you come out here going after all these things now when you have literally taught an entire college course on this saying the opposite? There's video we've all seen of him calling Ethereum a commodity already from years ago. So, I mean, we know the guy's corrupt. We know the SEC. I don't know if every single one of the people there is corrupt, but hey, guilty by association in this case. So,
they haven't done anything about it. So as far as I'm concerned, they're all guilty.
Yeah. And they've taken L after L after L when it comes to crypto. I don't think we're going to see anything different in this case. So, so if you guys have not gotten in there, and I'll go ahead and just leave the links for both of them in there. Not that you necessarily need them from me since Richard Hart actually tweeted them out, but I'll throw the IRS one and the SEC one in there. Look at some examples from some other folks. If you want to be as lazy about it as just kind of reading somebody else's, trying to understand it, I love using these AI tools. I mean, you could literally just go in there and say, hey, paraphrase this for me, please,
Sure.
and do a copy paste. I would still go over it, make sure you understand the information. I was talking to somebody I know who's a college professor about this kind of stuff earlier today, and that isn't as well versed in using some of these AI tools yet. And they were just like, I know these kids are turning in AI stuff right now.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, yeah, they are. Well, I don't know. I mean, this generation seems to be pretty, like, a lot dumber than ours right now, but they are young. So
There's some smart ones out there. So the ones that are using it are definitely taking advantage of it.
they should be. And
yeah.
but what they should do is the same thing I'm saying here is like, don't just let it spit something out and be like, okay, copy paste, throw it in. I mean, like, understand the information, and
Sure.
what it spit out may have errors, of course. So
Yeah.
make sure you understand that too. But
Yeah,
it's a hell of a tool. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to proofread it and look over it, and you can even ask it to make some changes um, to kind of fit your personality too. If you don't like how it's wording things, say a little bit less lawyer speak,
Right.
rewrite this a little bit less legal stance, and it'll do it. It's pretty crazy. I used it one time. My daughter we went on a trip during school, and I needed some sort of educational paper writing why we were missing school, and so I had AI do it. It was pretty cool. It spit
There
it
you
out,
go.
gave all the reasons and the different things that you could learn educationally from this place that we went to, listed them. I was great. It was pretty awesome.
That's a really good way to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause you don't want, you feel like, well, they're going to think I'm bullshitting or something like that.
Right.
Like, yeah, it just,
But
at the very least,
it spits out the facts, and that hard
yeah,
to argue with facts.
even if you don't, again, like the way that it says it necessarily, you can kind of it up a little bit and add in, ways you would say some things. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. And really, it's not that far off from like just Googling stuff. I'm
Right.
noticing with, I mean, it gives you even more, but it's making me realize it's like, well, we've been Googling stuff for how many years now? It's kind of like doing that, but just getting it even more curated for what you're looking for. So, yeah, I think college will be obsolete, which is fine with me. It's about time, really.